Hi guys, my name is Tobi. Welcome to the Unboxed Podcast. Welcome guys.
Thank you.
I will leave it to you to introduce yourselves.
Ladies first.
My name is Sherie.
Welcome, Sherie.
I'm so many things.
Please tell me.
I am an administrator in the healthcare sector. I'm a businesswoman. I have a gifting company. I'm an event planner. And I have a women's empowerment group called Midas Touch Woman.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's me.
My name is Gus. That's short for Augustine. And I am just maybe 4 or 5 things. Finance manager / accountant, retired software engineer, probably future data analyst because everybody's going back to IT. Aspiring local rapper every year. We'll drop album very soon. Yeah, for the most part, I work with people in fitness and whatnot. So yeah,
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. I should come for some tips.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, welcome again. I'm
Thank
Tobi
you.
and officially a podcaster.
Oh, nice. Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, today we'll be focusing on unboxing relationships. And we'll try and get as deep as we can, Let's get into the real stuff, right?
All right.
So, I've heard people talk about the difference between dating and courtship. What are your thoughts? Is there really a difference? Or will we say courtship is a Christian word?
I don't think the word courtship is Christian to begin with. It's an old word from medieval times, but I don't think it's based in Christianity. Even people, I guess back in the Western civilizations, Middle Ages, everyone was Christian, but yeah, courtship was just the word that was used. Oh well, now there's a very distinct meaning to the word, but from my point of view, when you say there's a courtship going on, it's very intentional. Sounds very intentional. Sounds like there's an end goal in mind. Versus dating, which is really just a loosely used word now for just,
Hook it up.
encompassing a lot of things. Sometimes when people say they're dating, they actually mean courtship, but it's such an open-ended word now that, it doesn't really have a meaning anymore.
Okay. Sherie?
Yeah, I agree. To me, dating is getting to know if this is a viable or this is something that has prospects. Is this somebody I can get with or get serious with? While courtship, on the other hand, is like Gus said, intentional. So there is an intent and a goal to that. So it's either you're definitely planning to get married at the end of the courtship. So yeah.
All right. So you're telling me that courtship has intentionality and an end goal.
Yeah.
But dating is just free flow.
Free flow.
Wherever we land ourselves.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. So I was thinking, I've heard quite a number of cases, and this hasn't happened to me personally. And these cases are the cases of love bombing. People getting into some level of intentionality or communication and saying that, they want to figure out how this thing will go. And then all of a sudden, 6 months into it, couple of months into it, one party starts to pull away without an explanation. In the cases that I've heard, it's mostly guys that have been the exactly of this. They start off, midnight calls. You know how it is. They spend time. They text you when they get to work. Text you, have you eaten? Text you when they are going to bed. Tell you when they are sick, and give you all the information that you would normally give someone that you are serious
In a committed relationship with.
And then all of a sudden, months into it, I'm sorry, I can't call you right now, I'm busy. All of a sudden, their life explodes and they're so busy they cannot pick a call. Can someone please explain from a man's perspective and a woman's perspective what exactly is the reason for this?
First of all, I would like to give a disclaimer right now. Personally, I haven't been a perpetrator or a victim or an enabler or an accomplice to any form of love bombing. That being said, what's the difference? The summary again. There's something different when you're applying for a job and when you have the job. When you're applying for the job, they say, "Can you work under pressure?" You say yes 7 times a day. 7 times a day, 52 weeks a year. Mm-hmm. And then after you get the job, 2 weeks later, you're like, okay, 5:30 should do and come. Let's go home. So I feel like that would be the most practical explanation of it. When you just met someone and you're really impressed with them, and unfortunately, this is I don't know who to blame for this. Now, I don't like blaming society in general, but there's this general idea that when a man wants to talk to a woman, he must be intentional and serious and this on one hand. Then on the other hand, there's people that say, "Oh no, just let it flow." Blah, blah, blah. So someone who knows nothing about dating, courtship, whatever, and just knows that they're really attracted to this person, I think the more, anyways, whatever it is, it's the application period. And you get in there, you're messaging, you want to know everything, and then when things have kind of leveled up, and then you're like, okay, you know what, I'm comfortable here, and then they get comfortable. And that's comfortable is the benign case where they just get comfortable and forget to do all the things they were doing at the beginning. The malicious one is where they did it intentionally, knowing fully well that would bamboozle the person, and like this. There's a reason why it's called love bombing, because it blows everything up, and then you get what you want.
It's mostly the latter. Like they don't. It's not about you're just comfortable and then you just decide to just let it go. Up, yeah. I feel most of the people who get into this whole love bombing thing is, you first of all are not even aware. You don't even know what you want to start with, because if what you saw that made you go all out, because like you said, society expects that. Even we as women, the way you measure a man's seriousness is how much calls am I getting, how much communication is he putting in. That shows that he's serious.
Consistency and
the
intensity.
Consistency, I want to wake up to a text message from him. I want to get a call like every other minute of the day. He's checking on me. That's our own interpretation of this guy is serious. But then I think as women, where we now get lost in all of that and get carried away is we now begin to attach emotions to those actions. And that's why we get the bitter end of the cane at the end of the day, when the guy decides to say, I think I'm over whatever this thing was or whatever. Because most times you see somebody, you see a girl and you're just intrigued by what is she about? And that's this whole love bombing. You want to just overtake and take over her life. You want to know everything. You want to be in there. And then by the time you get close enough, you discover, she's just there. Like, there's nothing really enticing. There's nothing really spectacular about her. And then suddenly you discover that you're no longer calling her 10 times a day. You're no longer asking her if she has eaten or if she woke up or if she didn't wake up. And you don't care anymore. And then the painful part is, at this point, the woman has put in so much emotion. She's now, invested. In this, some of us have even bought Ashwebi already. By this point, where the guy is like, this guy is just, I bet there's nothing there. And then you feel like, I wasted my time. I've invested so much of my time into this whole trying to get to, because for us, we don't see it as, we see it as you're trying to get to know us. You're trying to build something serious with us as women. We don't see it as, he just wants to get to know me and that's it. And I think that's the mistake that we as women are making. The fact that a guy is showering you with so much attention and, pouring all this love on you does not necessarily mean that he wants to get with you. So you have to get your priorities right and know from the get-go what this is. And don't quickly just throw all your emotion into it and say, oh yeah, I think this is it. And then you're already building a future in your head with an imaginary person who probably in the next 3-4 months will fizzle out and just go away.
Okay.
I wanted to interject something because it may have come up the way I was saying it, there's a degree of lack of accountability. There are very, very, very many people who do this intentionally, knowing exactly why they're doing it too. Some people do it because they're interested and they don't know how, but there's people that know exactly what they're doing. They know love bombing works 77% of the time, and it's a numbers game.
Usually a manipulative tool.
Oh yeah, it's a very manipulative tool, and people do that. People do that intentionally too. Let's not act like human beings are not of free agency. So people very, very intentionally know what they're doing when they love bomb you.
I don't want to generalize and just assume that it's men that do it to women. I believe.
Oh no, it happens both ways. Anyway, that's a different.
The difference in this, yes. I think, why it's like a hot topic is because more women tend to be affected because we get our feelings and emotions involved quickly. And so when the guy eventually disengages, it's like, oh God, my heart is broken. He broke my heart. He led me on. He was really giving me that vibe that there was something.
Many women don't have to women.
Many women don't have to.
They don't have to women. Like, honestly, men are generally easier to get than women. So, like, no. This is a different conversation. But like, honestly,
Please,
no.
This is explain that.
No, it's not. There's nothing to explain. If you pick out 20 people in a room, 20 men, 20 women, ask them individually. Okay, the 20 men, how many girlfriends have you had? Let's say 5 each. Of all your 5 girlfriends, how many of them were you the one who toasted her versus how many times was she the one that toasted you? Out of those 20 people with their 5 girlfriends, that's 100 people, like 97 of them, the guy toasted the girl.
Well,
and
but,
then, like,
but
3 times the girl smiled at the guy and he was like,
context.
okay, I'm in.
No, you're talking about in the cultural context. In our culture, the norm is for the guy to go for the woman. But if you look at it like generalization, I think in other cultures it might not be the case.
No. Even in situations where you know, like, people are more liberated and like women walk up to men and it's still not like wooing, right? Like it's for a guy, it's very simple, right? If you're an attractive woman and you walk up to me and I'm available, then the end.
Even if you're not available.
Even in some cases, even if it's not available, yes. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's no wooing to be done. It's hi, I like you. I think you're cute. Okay, I like you too. The end. Even now on the other side, sometimes both of you like each other, but there's still the back and forth.
Well, there's societal norms that, you know, like a man has to do certain
and that's
things,
what I'm saying.
Which is the whole calling, the whole process. Like,
I believe that personally, the man should do the asking out.
I don't care.
Why?
Like,
I'm not saying that the woman can talk to him first. Interestingly, I spoke to my husband first. But it had to be him to ask me out. And my reason is simple.
Why?
There's a lot tied around women and self-esteem. The last thing you want when you get married is to try to figure out, did he really choose me or did I force
If you've
myself
entered the marriage before determining that, then maybe we should have that conversation again.
I think it's still perspective. It depends on
no, but even if you get, like, there's a lot between the asking out and the marriage, I'd like to assume.
Yeah,
like,
which is the dating,
by the time you get to the marriage, if you are not sure why you entered the marriage, like, a guy can have toasted you for 6 years, but the reason why you marry, it was still you that dragged him into the marriage, because he was just happy with boyfriend and girlfriend. So that one is an entirely different thing. Like, now when it comes to the proposal part, I may be more like, very likely the guy should propose kind of thing. But like with the asking out, I don't necessarily have any.
Because the last thing a woman wants to hear a man say is, actually, I didn't really want you. You came onto me.
Okay, you didn't have enough agency to say, I don't want. Years now, or months or weeks to say, you know what, now that our eyes have cleared.
Well, I think it's men with maybe self-esteem or complex issues that will open their mouth and say
I think that's just something people say to be hurtful. I don't even think, like, if you genuinely only ended up with someone because they came onto you, then what was your plan? Like, at the point in time you thought you could have done better, you should have done better. Like,
you would say, to summarize, that it's okay for a woman to ask a man out.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Well, women, you've heard, please take your shot.
Take your shot.
Shoot that shot. Risk it all.
Shoot it.
In this, and
you never
this is
know.
not even a matter
Really,
of
you
age
never
or
know.
time. Just people always say you don't get what you deserve, man. You get what you go out there and take.
And
honestly.
you have to take it.
Just like, because the things that I deserve,
They can pass you by.
I'm still waiting, good or bad. But no, you get what you go out there and you put yourself out there for. So you don't sit down at home, man. There are many people that deserve a lot of good things, good people in their lives, good people, beautiful, everything, and they're in the wrong place or they're not making any action and they're giving signs and hints and they want magic to happen. And sometimes You just have to open your mouth because the person you're hinting.
It's not hinting.
They don't understand what you're saying. So, yeah.
No, but I think in this day and age that we're in, I think life has transcended long beyond those things of, let me give him sign, let me just be showing green lights, and then we'll catch the green light. I think we've gone past, like we've evolved beyond that.
And point. Even me, that I like to think of myself as I spend most of my adulthood and teenage years with my sisters and my mom, and my brothers are around, my dad is around, but I was very much closer to the women in my life, period. And yeah, no.
You still don't get the signal?
No, I get the signals, but I'm an advocate of open your mouth and talk.
Open your mouth and talk, yeah.
Absolutely. It's very, very important for me, so that in the way you were saying, you don't want to ever hear the guy say, oh, he just entered this because I did. I don't want it to ever be in a situation where you now be like, oh no, that's not even what I meant, or you just, sorry, ma'am.
State your intentions.
State your intentions. Why are we here?
Yeah, on that topic of clarity, I've heard often that men aren't clear on what they actually want. They say, oh, yes, I'm serious. But then you get into the conversation and it seems that the man and the woman are speaking different languages. And I must add, I hear often that people say that women are desperate and men are relatively chilled back about settling down.
Yes.
By the way,
I don't know about desperation.
I hate the word settling down.
First of all,
what does that even mean? Settling down for what? What are you settling into? Anyway, so they say women are desperate. I've had conversations with people and they say, yeah, women are so driven. When they get into a relationship, they just want to know, are we heading to the altar? And I can relate to that in the sense that a woman has a biological clock that she didn't put there. It's just what it is. And as she grows older, the available men to her reduces. Whereas as the man grows older, the available women to him increases. It's just the way things have been created.
Things are changing.
Things are changing.
The internet and connectivity is changing.
A lot of things.
Whole lot of structures disrupting. That's the word I was.
And I don't want to. I think that thing of saying women are desperate is probably stems from the fact that we're emotional beings. Like I was explaining earlier about when this whole love bombing thing is happening. The women, but women are more emotionally driven.
No, women are more emotionally expressive.
And
in a healthy way too, please.
Driven.
Because I'd rather be with the person that cries when they're angry than the person that carries a gun and goes.
So when we get into the whole relationship thing, like a woman is set on, I know what I want. Like I know if I'm at a marriageable age, of course, any man that comes around me, I'm looking at the prospects of, is this the possible one? Are we is this someone that can be the one? So, of course, everything you do at that point in time, you're not just looking at, oh, let's just have fun and feel good. You're weighing everything that you already have on your scale of whatever you want to use in picking a spouse. And that might come off as you being desperate, but that's what you are as a woman. And then, unfortunately, when your emotions now get mixed into it, you start catching feelings. It now gets like, oh, you want to cling on to, and then the person gives that glimpse of he's close to what you want. The tendency to want to cling on to it, pour your all into it to show, oh yes, this is what I want. I'm really available. And it's literally just telling the person, I'm available. You're what I want, or you seem like what I want, and I want you as well. And then, of course, if it's a man who's not in that headspace or feels you're being too fast or you're being too pushy or being too clingy, they term you now as desperate. But I guess this is just the whole thing that happens with women, especially now, where you have more women in the older ages, mature women who haven't are not married yet, and then you come across the men who are maybe in their mid-30s. They're probably just chilling, They're thinking of marriage, but not in that way that you as a 35-year-old woman is thinking about it, because you're looking 40. There are women who get into menopause as early as 40. So you're thinking, oh yeah, I need to get this done as soon as possible and start. the parameters are quite different now, depending on if you're a Christian lady, then of course you're thinking, oh, I have to do it. And that's why we have more women now going to sperm banks and getting pregnant and having children, because they can't wait for the whole romantic, let's get to the altar, we marry, and then we have the children. So they flip the script.
Can I just
take what they want?
Unrelated topic, advocate for adoption, man, please. Seriously. Like, I did maybe a few weeks, months in an orphanage when I was like 14 or something for a service project in my secondary school. And ever since then, it's always been in my head, like, if you can do it, mentally and financially, of course, please, whether you have 200 children, whether you're just adopt one. There's so many children that would love to have families that just, especially like in Nigeria, I don't know, I can't speak for them, but like, yeah, it looked grim. And I've been to a few orphanages since then, and just every once in a while, I'm just like, yeah.
I've always believed that if every good family picked one child off the street,
honestly,
it'll
change the entire nature of the world. Like, honestly,
I guess with our cultural background, there are so many
people are scared of raising
people
witches.
Are scared of. You don't know the background of the child. You don't know what's running in their family. Like, there's so many things that we bring into the whole mix.
Do medical tests if you want to know what's running in their blood.
From taking that bold move to say, okay, I'll just
God
get one
will
child.
Absolutely.
All right, so back to relationship. Sorry, I don't like the word desperate when people say, like, especially in terms of marriage and whatever. Like, yes, there are a few people that are desperate to settle down or get married, but the fact that you have a plan for your life doesn't mean, like, it has this negative connotation to knowing what you want out of your life and having goals for yourself. When you ask people what they want in their careers, they can give you a detailed, in another 5 years, I want to be manager and blah, blah, blah. So why is it that when someone says in 3 years' time, I want to be married, and all of a sudden everybody's like, ooh, she's desperate, kind of thing. That being said, especially this new red pill manosphere movement, they're pushing, oh, no, don't get married. For men, stay single, exploit the power of your age, you're aging like wine, and blah, blah. Okay, everybody has a biological clock. It's just a clock. You're getting older. That's the simple truth of the matter. Like, today is the youngest you're going to be. Tomorrow is the youngest you're going to be tomorrow, and then it's just going to keep going to get older every day and every day. So if we come back to the communication thing, someone says, I want to be with you, blah, 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 blah. It is within your rights, and it's not just a matter of a right. It's a very important question. And once you feel comfortable enough with this person, please, Oga, Madam, where are we going with this? Let's know what the roads are and whatever. Like, like I said, I like opening your mouth and say it, because from the beginning, you know that this one is play or this one is serious. And then you can then set expectations accordingly. It's not fair to someone to let a conversation hang in the air because you don't want the awkwardness of the conversation, and then lead them along for like 2 months, 3 years,
6 months,
7 years. And then at the end of it, you're like, yeah, I was just riding the wave, and the wave of, So, right, just open your mouth, communicate. There's no men and women speak different languages. If we speak English in a clear, straight manner to each other, and except if someone is lying, at the end of this conversation, we'll know what we both want out of it. And it's as simple as that.
Awesome. On emotions, there is a scripture that says, do not awaken love before it's time. Should men or women open their hearts to emotions whilst they getting to know each other?
I would say no. From a woman's perspective, I would say no, because of how badly that ends most of the time. Especially when you... No. I'm going to explain.
Please explain.
Let me explain it to you.
Okay.
See, a man can talk to you as a woman for 6 months. He's calling you every other minute of the day. He's checking up on you. He's chatting you up.
Is this a sane human being or
a sane human being? I'm talking about a sane human being.
Okay.
And he likes you, yeah. He probably has feelings for you and all that. But in the 6 months or whatever, if he's not ready to commit, he's able to carry that on for even up to 5 years if you let it as a woman. So there's no commitment from his end in the sense that, okay, we have this thing going. Oh, you hear things like, oh, I vibe with her, or I click with her, I can talk, she's easy to talk to. And that just keeps going on. There's no destination. They will just keep talking and vibing. And if you as the woman, if you let it go on, it will keep just going and there's nothing. And after the 5 years or 6 years or whatever, the day he's like done, he's done and there's nothing and he's gone. That's it, he's done. But you as the woman, at the end of that 5 years or even 6 months, let's say not even use 5 years is even a long time. Let's use 6 months. That was their wickedness. Let's use 6 months. At the end of 6 months, as a woman, in constant communication with a man, like literally giving your all to that, whatever it is that you people have been doing in the 6 months, you can't come out the way you went into it.
The truth is,
a man will.
2 weeks later, you probably already.
2 weeks later, you're already buying ashwabi in your head. You're already planning the wedding, thinking of your future children, how they look like. Because when you feel like when somebody commits that amount of time and energy, of course, it has to be a guy that sends you. It has to be a guy that he has seen something that he likes and he really wants to get to know it. But that's where we get played. Because the truth is, not every man who commits that level of attention or gives you that level of attention is actually serious about having anything to do with you. He might just be, like I said, you're easy to talk to. So he has seen somebody where you're now. So now this is where women have to get smart to say, when you come with some, before you start investing your emotions into it, to look into and see what are the both of you looking for.
That question. We keep coming back to this thing.
Definition
the minute
of what
it becomes
are we
a bump
looking
in the
for?
road, that conversation is important.
What are we looking for?
That conversation will save humanity,
Yes.
to be honest. Because
So I've heard often people say, "Oh, let's just go with the flow. Let it flow."
Go with the.
and no. See, that is a statement on its own that people ignore. When someone says, "Let's go with the flow," what they are telling you
is,
whether you like it or not, there's no future
I'm
here.
not committing to anything. So that's a statement of a fact to
That
say,
is a
I'm not
statement
commitment
of a
to anything. I'm not heading anywhere. I'm just flowing and we're just going. So that going can be 6 months, it can be 1 year, it can be 2 years, it can be 3 years. But you as a woman, when you hear that statement, it's a flag for you to say, okay, am I in my phase of let's see where it goes? If you're in your 20s, in your 25s, there are women in their 30s who are even in that phase. They don't care. Like, I just want to have a good time. I just want somebody in my life that I can call. If I have a bad day at work, I can pick up the phone and call this person. I just rant and it will calm me down. Somebody on the weekend that I can go out with, hang out with. There are women in that space, and I have absolutely nothing against them. However, if you're a woman who knows that you have a destination, you have something that you're looking for, and you come across a man like that, don't sit down there and say, let's see where it goes. Maybe in 2 months, maybe next month, maybe the other month, he will finally come around. Maybe by the time he gets closer to me and sees that I'm what he wants, you are wasting your time.
So, how long do you think dating or courtship should be before we get to the point where we say, oh, it's working, or no, it's not working? Let's go our separate ways. Or let's get married.
To be honest, I don't think there's a timeline for these things. Because with the heart, you can't say, oh, it took me. There are people who met in 2 weeks, they got married, and they are happily married for years. Like literal strangers met 2 weeks after they're married, and that's it. And then you have people who dated for 10 years. They get married, and 1 year after, marriage has scattered. Because there's really no timeline to these things. It's just, I think for me personally, is knowing what you want. And when you're dating, of course, you're getting to know if this person is somebody I should commit my emotions or time to. Once you see what you're looking for, and if that person, if you're on the same wavelength, you go into courtship and decide how long it wants to take you to get married, like to settle down. Of course, you have to put into factor where you're going to live, money, and all. There's so many things that you have to put into consideration when you're talking about marriage, because that's a whole different conversation altogether. It's not just, I love you, I see you, let's just go and get married. Doesn't work that way. But again, back to my answer, there's no timeline. It can be 2 weeks.
I agree wholeheartedly. I agree.
Okay. All right. My final question would be, does God choose spouses for people?
Oh, let me answer this one first. Yes or no? Yes. I mean, if we're going the biblical way, God said it is not right that this man should be alone, and he put him to sleep, and yes. But he also gave us free will. So God has said, this is the person. Whatever you do with it after that is on you. If I remember my boy Jacob, he did marry Leah before he did a Rachel after that. Or am I getting this story wrong? So yeah, there's who you have for you, and there's what life gives you and the choices you make. And God is loving enough to accept that in the end the decision is ours. So He will love us whatever way.
Yeah, I agree. God gives you the free will to choose. He can guide you, but I don't think even the ones that will say, oh, God told me, or I heard, or I had peace in my spirit, at the end of the day, it's your choice. Mm-hmm. If God speaks to you, He tells you what to do, He tells you who to go with, but then it's still your choice to say, am I going to go with this person? We've had people who say, I dreamt, I saw this sister clearly in the dream, but no, I don't want her. I want somebody else. So the choice is yours. We have the perfect will of God, the permissive will, and the good will of God. So whichever way you fall in these three, I believe God still gives you that free reign to choose and decide what you want to do. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sister Kemi, you heard her here. She said, we even don't go put you in my dream. You are not nah, just play.
It was such an awesome time chatting with you guys. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having
so
us.
much, Sherie. Hope to have you guys again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
More than happy to come back.
Thanks, guys, for joining. Please like, subscribe, and share.